Everyone in my life has always said the same thing about me. Aria, you're so pretty. Why don't you date someone already? As if it were that simple. As if the reason wasn't walking around in my head 25 hours a day. Felix Carter. My childhood friend. My almost brother. My almost everything. The universe must have been laughing when it made me fall for him, because Felix is exactly the type to look at me with that maddening, gentle protectiveness. The kind you give to someone you think needs guarding, not loving. That's why I never confessed. He'd probably just pat my head and say, Aria, you're like a sister. And I'd simply evaporate on the spot. So I stayed quiet. Pretty dresses, waist-length hair, a smile that pretended I wasn't dying inside. That was my entire personality. And then college started. The first thing I noticed while stepping into campus was the attention. People's eyes lingered on me a little longer than I liked, but I tried not to overthink it. I've been stared at my whole life. I'm practically immune. Today, though, my heart was busy panicking over something else entirely. Felix and I had applied to different colleges. It was supposed to be good for me, a healthy emotional detox. A chance to grow independently, maybe get over him, maybe meet someone who didn't make my brain malfunction. But life really said, not today. Because when I turned a corner, there he was. Felix Carter. Backpack over one shoulder. White t-shirt, messy hair. Looking like he'd stepped out of a drama, just to ruin the progress I never made. He froze when he saw me. Aria. God, the way he says my name. As if it belongs to him. His eyes moved slowly, deliberately, down to the ends of my hair. You grew it out, he said, voice low. Yeah, I tucked a strand behind my ear. It just kept growing. Brilliant, Shakespeare could never. He stepped closer, and campus noise blurred. You should tie it up. Guys are already starring. I blinked. I literally just got here. That's enough time for them. Something annoying and warm fizzed in my chest. There it was, the overprotective big brother energy that simultaneously melts me and crushes my soul. I can handle myself, I said. I know, he murmured, looking away for a second. I just don't like it. I froze. Wait. What? Since when does he not like other people staring at me? Before I could process that suspiciously jealous sentence, a group of students walked by, breaking the moment. Felix cleared his throat. Come on, I'll take you to orientation, he said. Why are you here? I thought you. I transferred. My heart did a full somersault. You transferred here. His gaze met mine, steady, unreadable. I wasn't letting you spend your first year alone. My soul left my body, did 3 victory laps and re-entered. But on the outside, I just nodded, pretending not to combust. Okay. Let's go. If someone had told me that starting college with Felix Carter glued to my side would feel like babysitting a large, brooding wolf dog, I would have believed them. Because that's exactly what he acted like all morning. Hovering. Shadowing me. Glancing at every boy who breathed within a 2-meter radius. At one point, I genuinely wondered if he had developed a special 6th sense. Boy approaching and Felix materializes. I wish I were exaggerating. Orientation was being held in the auditorium, which was already buzzing. Felix and I slipped into seats near the middle. Well, I sat. Felix sat next to me like a personal security barricade. He kept checking the row behind us, and the row in front of us like we were in some kind of tactical operation. Relax, I whispered. No one is going to attack me. You don't know that. I stared at him. Felix, it's orientation. The most dangerous thing here is the icebreaker activity. He didn't smile. He didn't even blink. Before I could tease him further, someone dropped into the seat on my other side. Hey, the boy said, bright grin and sunshine energy radiating off him like he belonged in a toothpaste commercial. I'm Liam Park. Liam. Great, Even his name smiled. I smiled back, because I'm not a gremlin. I'm Aria. His eyes widened, in the not subtle wow she's pretty kind of way. Aria, nice. You a freshman too? Yeah. That's awesome. Maybe we'll have classes together. Felix shifted beside me. Shifted as in. Chair scraping, shoulders tense, silent earthquake levels of irritation. I ignored it. Liam kept talking, cheerful and sweet. I liked him instantly, not liked, but he had good energy. Safe energy. We should exchange numbers, he said casually, in case you need notes or someone to show you around. My lungs misfired. Felix's jaw ticked. Before I could form human words, Felix leaned forward, voice smooth, but carrying the same vibe as a politely sharpened knife. She's good. She doesn't need anyone to show her around. Liam blinked, confused. Oh, cool, I just meant. We're fine, Felix added, tone still polite but laced with mine layered under it. I elbowed him sharply. Ow, he muttered. I turned to Liam quickly. Sorry, he's just like that. Liam laughed lightly, protective. I almost choked. Something like that. Felix didn't comment. He just slouched back in his chair like he was calming some inner dragon. When the session ended, Liam waved at me as he left. See you around, Aria. See you, I said, waving back. The second he disappeared, Felix spoke. Don't talk to him. I spun toward him. Excuse me. He's too friendly. I blinked. That's literally what normal people call being polite. He smiled too much. What does that even mean? I demanded. Felix ran a hand through his hair, exasperated. It means he likes you. Oh, the irony. The boy I've loved my entire life was jealous of a stranger smiling at me. Felix, I said slowly, arms crossed. Even if he did like me, why do you care? He froze. Absolutely froze. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. I had never seen him so startled, and honestly, it was cute. I just don't want you getting close to random guys, he muttered. That sounds a lot like jealousy, I said. He looked away. I'm not jealous. He sounded jealous. I stepped closer, voice softening. Felix. His eyes flicked to mine. Are you sure you don't see me as something more than a little sister? He inhaled sharply. But before either of us could say anything else, my phone buzzed, a message notification. From an unknown number. Unknown. Hey Aria, it's Liam. Hope you don't mind that I saved your number from the group sheet. Felix saw the notification. And his expression. A mix of betrayal, fury, and I need to go scream into a pillow. Oh no. Oh yes. This year was going to be interesting. I learned exactly 3 things during orientation. The auditorium chairs are uncomfortable. Icebreakers are a crime. Felix Carter has developed an aggressive anti-boy radar. The moment a guy sat next to me, Liam Park, sunshine smile, friendly vibe, Felix stiffened like someone plugged him into a socket. Hey, I'm Liam, he said to me. Aria, I replied. Nice, maybe we'll have classes together, want to exchange num. She doesn't need that, Felix cut in, voice calm but eyes saying back off, buddy. I elbowed him, he pretended it didn't hurt. When orientation ended, Liam waved. See you around, Aria. Felix glared at his existence. The second Liam disappeared, Felix spoke. Don't talk to him. I stared. Felix, he was just being nice. He likes you, he muttered. So, why do you care? He froze like I'd slapped him with a logical question. I just don't want you around random guys. That sounds jealous. I'm not jealous. He sounded like a liar. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown. Hey Aria, it's Liam. Got your number from the group sheet. Felix saw the message. His expression instantly turned into, who gave HIM permission to breathe? Yep. College was going to be fun. I didn't even get to step out of the auditorium hallway before Felix grabbed my wrist. Not hard, just enough to say, "Nope, we're talking about this." Felix let go, I said. He didn't. He just pulled me into a quiet corner like a brooding detective, dragging in a witness. "Why does he have your number?" His voice was low, tight. "I didn't give it to him," I said. "He got it from the group sheet." "That's worse." I blinked. "How is that worse?" "He shouldn't want your number that fast. He's being friendly." "No," Felix said flatly, jaw tense. "He's not." I crossed my arms. "And you're acting ridiculous." He stepped closer, too close, his shadow swallowing mine. "I don't like it when guys flirt with you," he said. My heart dropped to my toes. "Why?" I whispered. His hands clenched at his sides. For a long moment, he said nothing. Just stared at me like he was fighting some internal war. And then he lost. Completely. "Because you're mine." The words slipped out sharp, raw, unfiltered. My breath hitched. His eyes widened the second he heard himself. He started, voice cracking. "I didn't mean I. Oh," I whispered, shock crashing through me. He dragged a hand through his hair, cursing under his breath. "Forget I said that," he muttered, looking anywhere but at me. I wasn't thinking." But he was. I knew he was. And judging by the way his ears burned red. He knew I knew. I didn't let him escape. Felix turned away, clearly planning to bolt, but I caught his sleeve. "Felix, look at me." He froze. Slowly, painfully slowly, he turned back. His eyes were guarded again, that mask sliding on like he'd practiced it his whole life. But I'd heard him. The words were still echoing in my skull. "Because you're mine." "Say it again," I whispered. His jaw tightened. "Aria, no." "Felix." I said it by accident. "No, you didn't." He shut his eyes for a second, like he was bracing for impact. When he opened them, they were colder, controlled. The Felix everyone else saw. "I was frustrated," he said. "That's all." "Liar." His voice cracked on the last word. I stepped closer. "If you didn't mean it, then look me in the eyes and tell me you see me as a sister." His entire body tensed. "Aria." "Say it." He swallowed hard. His gaze flickered to my lips, then away, then back again like he hated himself for it. He tried again. "I see you as..." Nothing came out. Absolutely nothing. His throat worked, but the words refused. And then suddenly, too suddenly, he stepped back. "I can't do this," he muttered, voice rough. "Felix. I need space." Space. We've shared pencils, secrets, snacks, childhoods, but now he needs space. Before I could stop him, he turned and walked away, fast, almost running. I stood there, heartbeat everywhere, breath tangled. He didn't deny it. He couldn't. Felix Carter wasn't confused. He was terrified. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the only one running from the truth. I was still standing there, staring at the spot where Felix had vanished like a guilty magician, when someone cleared their throat behind me. I turned. Liam. Of course. Because the universe apparently runs on dramatic timing and bad luck. "You okay?" he asked, eyebrows raised, concern written all over his face. "You look like you just got hit by a bus made of feelings." I blinked. "Something like that." He laughed softly, then his smile softened into something warmer. "You sure? I saw that guy storm off like he was late for a brooding competition." "That guy," I echoed, feeling a hysterical laugh bubble up. "Yeah, that's Felix." "Oh," Liam nodded slowly. "So he's..." "My best friend," I said automatically. But the words tasted wrong now. Too simple, too shallow for whatever that mess was. Liam studied my face for a moment. Then he smiled, gently, not flirting, just kind. "If he said something that hurt you, you don't have to pretend it's nothing." He really had good timing, and bad timing, simultaneously. I forced a breath. It's complicated. Most good things are, he said with a little shrug. But hey, if you need space from him, I'm around. I can show you the campus, grab coffee, anything. I knew he meant it platonically, maybe, probably. But something in his eyes lingered a bit too long. Felix would explode if he saw that look. Thanks, Liam, I said. Really. He gave me that bright grin again, the one Felix hated for absolutely no rational reason, and started walking beside me. And that's exactly when I felt it. A stare. A sharp, burning, unmistakably jealous stare from across the courtyard. I looked up. Felix. Standing half-hidden behind a pillar, like the most obvious undercover agent in history. Jaw clenched. Eyes locked on Liam. Expression screaming. Why is he breathing near her again? Liam followed my gaze. Oh, is he always like that? I exhaled slowly. You have no idea. Liam grinned. Well, this might be fun. Felix's eye twitched. This was going to be chaos. And I wasn't sure if I should run away. Or enjoy watching Felix Carter lose his mind for me. I barely made it 10 steps with Liam before I felt a hand close around my wrist. Warm. Firm. Very familiar. Felix. Aria, he said low, controlled, 2 seconds away from losing it. Liam stopped beside me, eyebrows raised. Felix didn't even look at him. Can we talk? Felix asked. Not really a question. More like a warning. I'm actually, I started, but he gently tugged me away, not rough, just determined. Dude, Liam called behind us, you okay? Felix didn't answer. He kept walking until we were behind an empty classroom building, out of sight, out of sanity, apparently. Finally, he stopped. And turned. And stared. Hard. What are you doing with him? I crossed my arms, walking. Why? Felix, that's a weird question. He likes you. So what? His jaw flexed. I don't want him near you. I laughed, a short, shocked sound. Felix, you can't forbid people from talking to me. He stepped closer, too close, eyes dark, voice low. I'm not forbidding. Another step. I'm telling you I hate it. My breath caught. Why? I whispered. His silence was loud. Painful. Shaking. I watched his throat move as he swallowed. Because when I saw him with you, his voice cracked, I wanted to punch a wall. Oh. My heart did an Olympic sprint. He looked away, hands in his hair, packing like he was fighting himself. I said something stupid earlier, he muttered. Which stupid part? I asked softly. The you're mine part. He froze. I had him. Completely. Slowly, he turned back to me, eyes raw. I didn't mean to say it, he whispered. But you meant it, I said. He didn't deny it. He couldn't. And that scared him more than anything. It's not that simple, he whispered. It is, I said gently. You feel something, I feel something. We've been dancing around it for years. He breathed out shakily. Aria, I'm scared. My chest squeezed. Of what? He met my eyes, finally, and everything in his gaze was stripped bare. Of losing you. The words landed between us like gravity itself. And for the first time, Felix Carter wasn't the unshakable one. I was. For a second, neither of us moved. Felix stood there looking like he'd confessed to a crime. Not a feeling, breath uneven, hands clenched, eyes fixed on the ground like the truth might explode if he looked at me. Felix, I said softly. He still didn't look up. So I stepped closer. One step. Then another. Until the space between us was gone. Until I could feel the warmth of his chest, and the way his breath hitched when he finally looked up. His eyes widened a little. Like he wasn't expecting me to be brave. Aria, he warned, voice low and shaky. You're scared of losing me, I whispered. He stayed silent, which was as close to yes as Felix Carter got. So I reached up and touched his face. Just gently. A whisper of a touch along his jaw. Every muscle in him tensed. Not pulling away. Just overwhelmed. You won't lose me, I said. And you never had to pretend you didn't care. His hands hovered, literally hovered, at my waist like he wanted to hold me but didn't trust himself. Aria, don't say things like that if you don't mean them, he murmured. I've meant them for years. That broke him. His jaw dropped slightly. His breath shuddered out. His eyes searched mine like he was checking if I was real. He swallowed hard. You loved me that long. Longer than you think, I said, smiling just a little. He let out a soft, disbelieving laugh, the kind that sounded like relief and heartbreak at the same time. His forehead touched mine, and my heart took off like it had wings. God, he whispered, I've wanted you this close forever. I froze. He realized what he said and inhaled sharply, like he'd lost control again. But this time, he didn't run. For a moment, neither of us breathed. His forehead rested against mine, his breath brushing my lips, and the world shrank until it was just the two of us. The air, the heat, the years of unsaid things pulsing between our hearts like something alive. Aria, he whispered, voice rough. My name had never sounded like that. Like a need he'd been holding back for far too long. His hand moved first, painfully slow, lifting from his side, as if he was scared I'd disappear if he touched too fast. Then, with the gentlest pressure, his fingers brushed my waist. Barely. A ghost of a touch. But it felt like lightning under my skin. I exhaled shakily. He froze. Too much. Not enough, I whispered. His breath caught, and then he let go of every bit of restraint he'd been clinging to. His hand slid fully onto my waist this time, warm and claiming, pulling me closer until my chest pressed lightly against his. His other hand rose, fingertips brushing along my jaw, trailing down my neck in a slow, careful line that made my knees wobble. Aria, he murmured, voice thick, if you knew how long I've wanted to touch you like this. I shivered. Not from cold. His thumb traced the dip below my lip, soft, reverent, almost teasing, and the sound that escaped me was embarrassingly quiet. His breath hitched at that. He leaned in just a little more, lips hovering a breath away from mine, close enough for the heat to curl around my spine. Tell me to stop, he whispered, though his hand tightened at my waist like he was praying I wouldn't. I slid my fingers into the back of his hair, tugging just lightly. Felix, I whispered, stop pretending you want distance. A soft, low sound left him, half laugh, half groan, and his forehead pressed more firmly to mine. You have no idea what you're doing to me, he breathed. I did. Because I felt the way he trembled. Felt the restraint shaking under his skin. Felt how badly he wanted more, and how desperately he was holding himself back. He nuzzled his nose against mine, slow and warm, and his lips brushed the corner of my mouth. Not a kiss, just a promise of one. A very, very dangerous promise. Aria, he whispered, voice low enough to melt bone, if I kiss you, I won't stop at just that. Heat flooded through me. Every part of me. And all I could think was, then don't stop. His breath was still warm against my lips, his hand firm on my waist, when I whispered the words that finally snapped the last thread of his self-control. Then don't stop. For one heartbeat, Felix just stared at me, eyes dark, stunned, burning. And then he moved. No hesitation. No thinking. Just pure instinct. His hand slid to the back of my neck, pulling me in, and his lips crashed onto mine. Soft at first, like he was memorizing the shape of me. Then deeper, hungrier, like every year he'd held back was pouring out all at once. I gasped against his mouth. He swallowed the sound. My fingers curled into his shirt, pulling him closer, and he let out a low, rough groan that I felt more than heard. His lips traced the corner of my mouth, then returned, kissing me harder this time, his thumb stroking my waist as if he couldn't believe I was real under his hands. "Aria," he breathed between kisses, voice shaking. I can't." "Then don't stop," I whispered again, desperate. And oh, he didn't. He kissed me like he'd been starving for years. Slow, deep, dizzying. His body pressing me gently against the wall, his forehead resting against mine when he broke for breath. His voice was wrecked. "I've wanted this for so damn long." I was about to answer, something equally stupid and honest, when suddenly, "Aria." We froze. Comically. Instantly. Like two teenagers caught kissing behind a grocery store. Felix stiffened, hand still on my waist. Footsteps approached. Liam. Of course. Because fate is a hater. "Aria, I was looking for." He turned the corner and stopped dead. His eyes lowered to Felix's hand on my waist. Then to our flushed faces. Then back to the microscopic distance between us. "Oh," he said flatly. "Oh." Felix didn't move. Didn't even pretend to step away. He just tightened his hold on my waist, very deliberately, and looked Liam dead in the eye with the most territorial expression known to mankind. Liam raised one eyebrow. "So, I'm guessing you two were talking." "Felix." Translation, leave. Liam, right, "I'll talk to you later, Aria." Translation, this man will murder me if I stay. He backed away slowly. Silence settled. Felix finally exhaled, forehead thunking softly against mine again. "Of all the times," he muttered, half growl, half laugh. I bit back a smile. He really has perfect timing. Felix looked at me, lips swollen from kissing, eyes still dark. I'm not letting him interrupt next time. A shiver ran through me. Because he wasn't joking. And next time, there would be no stopping. Felix didn't take his hand off my waist until we were far away from Liam. Not even when we reached the quiet hallway. Not even when we stopped walking. He was pretending to be calm, but the man was tense. I could practically hear his heartbeat, shouting Morse code. I looked up at him sweetly. "So?" Felix blinked. "So?" I let my smile turn slow. "Dangerous. The kind that makes men question their life choices." "That kiss," I said lightly, "was that you being subtle?" He choked. Actual, literal choking on oxygen. Aria, that wasn't I didn't." "Oh, don't get shy now," I teased, stepping just a little closer. 5 minutes ago, you kissed me like you were planning to file taxes with my soul." He shut his eyes like he was praying for strength. "Aria." I leaned in. Close enough that my breath brushed his jaw. Close enough that he forgot English for a second. He stared at my mouth. "Don't tease me." I tilted my head. "Why does it work too well?" His jaw clenched. He looked away, which is hilarious, because this man stares down investors, rivals, and boardrooms without blinking. But one teasing comment from me. "Processor, overheated." I poked his chest lightly. "You know the way you pulled me in, the wall thing." I traced a small circle on his shirt. Very dramatic, very possessive, very Felix. His breath hitched. I grinned. "You practiced that in the mirror." His eyes snapped back to mine. "Aria, I swear." "What?" I asked, stepping even closer. "So you can kiss me again, by accident." He lost it. Not literally, he didn't kiss me. But his hand slid to my lower back, pulling me flush against him as he whispered against my ear. "I don't need accidents." "Oh. Okay then." My heart flatlined and restarted like a rebooting laptop. He pulled back just enough to look at me, eyes dark with that same heat from earlier. "You keep teasing me like that," he murmured, "and I'm not stopping at a kiss." I swallowed. "Noted." Felix smirked, slow and sinful, clearly pleased he finally got the last word. Felix was still smirking at me like he had all the control in the world. Which was adorable. And wrong. Because I wasn't done teasing. So I rose on my toes, brushed my lips just barely against his jaw, and whispered. Too scared to actually do it again. He froze. Like statue froze. Like Windows 98 crashed froze. Aria, he breathed, voice low, warning, almost pleading. I smiled. Thought so. And that was the moment Felix Carter, calm, collected, annoyingly untouchable Felix, snapped. His hand cupped my jaw, the other grabbed my waist, and before I could even gasp, he pulled me against him and kissed me like he'd been starving for years. Not soft this time. Not hesitant. Not afraid. Just pure, caged longing finally breaking out. My fingers curled into his shirt, dragging him closer as his mouth moved urgently against mine. Every kiss felt like an apology for the years he kept quiet, and a promise for the years he wouldn't anymore. When we finally broke apart, both breathless, he rested his forehead against mine. No more pretending, he whispered. I'm done acting like you're my sister. I'm done pushing you away. I'm done lying to myself. My heart clenched. Felix. I've loved you, he said, voice cracking just slightly. For so long it stopped feeling like a choice. My breath hitched. Then why did you? Because I was terrified, he admitted. You're the only person I can't afford to lose. Calling you my sister was the only way I knew to keep you safe, to keep you close, to keep myself from completely falling apart. I cupped his face gently. You already fell, Felix, so did I. His eyes softened, and for once he didn't hide anything. I know, he murmured. That's why I can't let you go now. He kissed me again, slower this time, reverent, like he was memorizing every second. Then he wrapped his arms around me and held me close, like he finally understood he didn't need to pretend anymore. And just when I thought he'd say nothing else, he whispered into my hair. Aria, stay with me, not as my sister, not as my best friend. Stay as the girl I love. My chest tightened, warm and full and overwhelming. I'm not going anywhere, I whispered back. You idiot, I've loved you since we were kids. He let out a shaky laugh, the relieved, undone kind, and pulled me in again. This time, the kiss wasn't desperate. It was home. Finally home. Felix POV, I don't remember the exact moment I fell for Aria Wilson. Maybe it was the first time she tugged my sleeve and dragged me to see her secret garden, which was literally 3 dying sunflowers behind her backyard. Maybe it was when she showed up at my house after school with Band-Aids because I'd scraped my knee like a dramatic baby, as she so kindly put it. Or maybe it wasn't a moment at all. Maybe loving her was something I grew into the way kids grow into their own height. All I know is, she was mine before I even understood what that meant. But loving her came with a problem. Aria trusted me. Aria adored me. Aria looked at me like I was her favorite person. And I was terrified of ruining that. So I built a wall. Not a normal one, no. A stupid, emotionally repressed, self-sabotaging wall made of one sentence. She's like a little sister to me. I said it once at 12. Twice at 13. 1,000 times as we grew older. Because I could handle a lot of things. Angry teachers, fights with classmates, losing games. But I could not handle the idea of Aria pulling away from me. And somehow, unbelievably, the more beautiful she became, the worse my fear got. She always wore dresses. Always had this soft, pretty charm that made people look twice. And when she walked into high school with her hair grown to her waist, every guy turned into a starving wolf. I hated it. I hated how they stared. I hated how she didn't notice. I hated how I had no right to say anything, not when I had shoved her into the sister category with my own mouth. But God, she was stunning. And she'd smile at me, only me, like I was still the boy she used to bring cookies to. And every day I'd bite my tongue and pretend I didn't want to grab her hand and drag her away from the world. Then came college applications. When she told me she was applying to a different university, I smiled and congratulated her. Inside, I died. I told myself I should be happy for her. I told myself I should let her go. But then Liam happened. A senior. Tall. Good-looking. Too confident. And worst of all, he liked her. Obviously liked her. And she didn't push him away. Watching him flirt with her was torture. Watching her blush a little was worse. And watching her slowly distance herself from me because she assumed I had a girl in my life. That broke something in me. I wasn't angry at her. I was angry at myself. I was the idiot who made her believe she meant nothing more than sisterhood to me. So when we ended up alone after that barbecue, when she stood there looking hurt and confused and heartbreakingly beautiful, something inside me just snapped. She teased me. Of course she did. She has no idea what she does to me. And I kissed her. Hard, reckless, years of longing poured into one moment. For the first time in my life, I didn't think. I didn't hide. I didn't run. For the first time, I kissed her like she belonged to me. And when she kissed me back, everything after that, my confession, her tears, her admitting she'd loved me since childhood, felt like stepping into a life I'd wanted for years but was too afraid to claim. Now, looking back at everything, the jealousy, the pretending, the fear, the pushing her away, all of it seems stupid. Because the truth was always painfully simple. I loved Aria Wilson from the start.